All right, so now to the next part that stands out here. All right, so we're talking about that, but now we're actually going into the casino. Now, there's two different things here. We're talking about picking a good table if possible. Now, on a cash game, you can kind of pick your table sometimes, your seats sometimes. In a tournament, you don't get to pick that. But let's maybe jump a little bit over to the cash game side of things.
Sure.
What are you looking for when you go into what kind of table are you looking for? What's your good table you're looking for?
I mean, for a while I was playing pretty steady in the Parks 2-5 game. The good thing playing in a game a lot is you get to know who the regular players are, and in general, you're going to try to maybe avoid some of the regular players, and you also find out who some of the regular not so good players are. So, I mean, not that I'm out there bum hunting, as you would call it, where you see a bad player and you're like, I got to get over to that.
I am bum hunting when I
well,
go to
wait,
cash
hold on.
game.
No, but hold on.
I'm like,
but
that guy, I want to be on his table.
Yeah, but here's the thing. So are all the other regulars. So usually it's the bad player and 6 regulars. So I've watched that, and so I don't necessarily have to be following that guy around in his back pocket. That being said, I absolutely change seats at a cash game. I absolutely have changed tables at cash games a lot. Again, I would get in the game, and if there's 7-8 games going, and I sit at my table, kind of feel out people who I know, who I don't know. After, like they say in the movie, you figure out who's who pretty early.
Yes.
And at that point, if I think I don't have a good table, good to make some money, I'll go up to one of the pit guys and say, hey, I need it. Looking for a table change.
Yeah.
Now I'll walk around and see the other tables that
you want to go to.
I want to go to, and then say, hey, can you put me on the list for table 7 and table 8? Do that all the time. Also with the seat change button. If I'm like, hey, I'm at a good table, but I got a really crappy seat, the people that I'd rather act after or acting after me, I'll get a seat change button and absolutely take advantage of that almost every single time I play a cash game.
So I'm definitely looking for people drinking. That's one thing I'm looking for. If everyone's kind of drinking on the table, like I know that's going to be a soft table. I know that's going to be, also looking for, people that are conversating. If I go up to the table and everyone's like headphones on, glasses,
you have your
hoodies,
serious players.
Like I know, like I'm just going to sit there and grind and like hopefully find one good spot and pick up some money. But if I see people drinking, laughing, and I tend to play. I don't play a lot of cash, but when I do play, it's more on Friday, Saturday nights. So I'm looking for the more recreational nights to go.
And that's when they're out. Yeah, of course, absolutely.
I try not to go on like Wednesday at 1 in the afternoon
because you have your regulars there. Yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
And so looking for that kind of stuff, people drinking, people, and also, kind of the opposite too, but like, so I'll give a little personal story. That's something that kind of screwed me. I thought I was making the right move and indirectly screwed me. So I was recently over in Spain, and I was playing in Madrid, and the casino there, right? Well,
subtle brag, playing poker in Madrid.
So they had a 2-5 game going, and there was like 3 seats open, I think, at the time, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go jump in this game. And so I'm walking up to the table, and I'm looking like a quick glance because when you go up there, you can't like really like.
Well, you don't want to make it obvious.
Yes.
And the good poker players don't sit there and go, who's got you're kind of just casually observing. You're hopefully taking a lot of mental notes.
Yeah. So like there was like 3 seats open. I want to say like the 2 seat, maybe the 6 and the 7 seat were open. Let's say, right. So there was a player in the 1 seat, young kid, had a stack. Like I knew right away. I see this.
You want to be after him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I was going to say you're looking at stacks also,
yes.
Which we didn't say until you just said it. So I was going to bring that up.
So he's got a stack. I can tell this dude's probably aggressive. He's young. He's going to be gambling. He's going to be in there mixing up. I want to be to his left, obviously, because I want position on that player. I want information because if you're on his right. Every time you bet, he's going to raise you. Right. He's going to re-raise. Now you're like, oh, crap. You're losing money.
Bad spot. Yep.
You're just giving him money, basically. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take the 2 seat. He's in the 1. I'll take a 2 seat. This is gonna be great. This is a perfect advantage. I can watch how he's playing. Get the information.
Let me ask you a question. Did you ask for a seat change button when you sat down?
No, but I'm gonna explain to you why. Well, there was only 1-2-5 game running.
Oh, okay. No, but a seat change at your table.
No, so I sat down and the table filled up like right after me. Like literally
okay.
2 hands later, the table was full because it was like a newer game.
At that point, me personally, I asked for a seat change. You know, especially if it fills up, because then you find out who's who, and the first person that leaves,
you could take that. That's good advice. That's good advice. I did not do that, unfortunately. The game filled up. There was a couple people because there was like a tournament busting out, or I don't forget how it was working. But here's the story that it backfired. I was in the second seat. Now I'm sitting there, and I'm kind of getting my chips. I'm getting my life together. But I guess I was in between the dealer button or something. I wasn't dealt the first hand. But I'm looking at it, and I'm like, what is wrong? What is going on here? Like, it just, your mind didn't comprehend fast enough. And I was like, what is happening? They were dealing backwards.
Oh, well, that would have got me right there, because I wouldn't have known that in Spain they're going backwards.
So I'm like, what is happening here? And then, so obviously it's a different language. I would
have fallen. I would have been in your seat too.
So it's a different language here. So I'm like, I don't know anybody. I can't. I mean, I speak a little bit of Spanish, but not enough to have a full conversation. Right. So I kind of realized after the second hand that this guy in like the 4 seat kind of speaks English. So I said to him, said, What is going on here? Why are they dealing backwards? He goes, they deal the game backwards. It plays backwards here. And I was like, I was just in Barcelona. They don't. And he goes, it's only a Madrid thing. In Madrid, they play the game backwards. So now I'm out of position against this kid, and he sucked out of me. I don't want to say he destroyed me, because I got it in good against him. He sucked out.
You had a second chance. At that point, I'd be reaching over and grabbing the seat change button, because at that point I would have definitely, if I didn't have it already, asked for it.
I know, and I
Only
didn't.
Because you never know. Like maybe 20 minutes later, somebody moves, and you get position on it. I mean,
I definitely felt uncomfortable, not only because the game was dealing backwards, but
and you don't know the language.
I don't know the language,
and I've never been in that environment, so I don't know. So
yeah, and I'm trying to like just kind of go with the flow, and it was I didn't lose like my house or anything like that. I lost like one buy-in.
No car keys came out of your pocket.
And the dude sucked out on me. Like, he had a draw, and he sucked out. And of course, I went to the young kid, but that was the kid I wanted to fade the entire time. I thought there'd probably be.
And you could have very easily sat in a 6 or 7 if you known they were doing a little counterclockwise poker.
And it's something I would never think. I've
never even seen that on a show, a movie, or I've never seen it dealt backwards.
I posted it on Twitter afterwards. I'm like, this is the weirdest thing, and people were all commenting like, what the hell is that? Like, and one person was like, yeah, I heard they do that there. It's so weird, and yeah, so if you're pro advice here, if you ever go to Madrid, they deal the game backwards.
Imagine, I can't imagine if like,
and it's just cash games. It's not tournaments. It's only the cash games they deal backwards.
So I could just imagine being somewhere and sitting at a table, and the guy walks up and goes, hey, do you guys deal this way or that way? And I'd be like, dude, jump on in. Like, we want you at the table if you're asking which direction.
Meanwhile, he's a high-stakes pro from Madrid.
Meanwhile, he's a Madrid pro player. But imagine a guy asking, which way are the cards dealt? Is it my turn? Or is it?
So I did the right thing. I picked off the player I wanted to sit next to, but it backfired.
But anybody from U.S. and probably anywhere else except Madrid area would have known this. So yes. Nobody would have known that.
Yeah. So
wow.
So that's a couple little things I look for. Like I said, you talked about the headphones. I try to avoid the table. If I see like one guy with headphones, who cares? But if I see like 3 or 4 guys on the table all with headphones, again, sometimes I try to fade that table for a cash game.
I think now a lot of people wear. I think almost everybody wears headphones anymore.
You know what?
They might still talk, and like I'm involved. I try to talk. Like I said, I usually would have one headphone in. Like I don't have these kind of big headphones like this. I would have earbud in and earbud out. I talk, but I'm listening to music just kind of in the background. So I think. It used to be the young guys always had the headphones. Then it was like, everybody's wearing headphones.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I've kind of gotten away from it myself personally.
I wear them less now myself.
Yeah, I feel like just there's too much information out there, especially if you're on a talkative table. Like, there's so much info and stuff.
For sure.
I think the opposite, too, is like, people tag you as, like more of a regular if they see you got the headphones and stuff on, and they just kind of tag you like, oh, that guy's like a regular. He's going to be playing ABC kind of style, this, that, or the other. So I kind of like try. I don't know. I personally just have gotten away from it, and I feel like it's helped a little bit. So I don't know. Next year you might hear me tell you how great headphones are. I don't know. I haven't figured out the secret yet, but I'm working on it. Yeah, so that's a couple things that I look at going for the table. Anything else you could think of?
Well, I was going to say, I mean, the one thing, and I kind of mentioned this before, with tournaments, I try to prep, before the first hand's even dealt. Now, at a cash game, it's usually not just starting. I mean, sometimes it is where they're like calling a new table, but 9 out of 10 times you get seated at a cash game, the other guys or girls are already there. And you're sitting down, and they're looking at you.
Yes.
So you don't want to be, like I said, obvious in the fact of everything, but you want to be observant, quietly observant of what's going on, who's got chips, who's sitting where, what people are saying. Now it's hard to take in all that info of 8, 9 other people all like
this. This is the only reason I wish Keen was here, because he would tell you directly. I'm the disturbance when it comes to a cash game.
Really?
Yeah, like when it comes to cash games, because I throw off the waves. Like I come in and just screw everything up. People.
Really?
Yeah, man. People don't like me when I'm at the table because if it's a quiet table,
I wouldn't think that.
I start talking. I'm like, I disrupt the flow.
Really?
It plays to my advantage, and it's just who I am when I step into a game. Keen's like, dude, you always piss people off at the table because, I start 3-betting, I start raising, I start talking, I start telling stories, like. I am the guy that, like, the wave's flowing, and here comes Hoagie just to disrupt the whole show, piss everybody off.
Tidal wave.
Yes, tidal wave coming in. So I come in there looking at me, and I just kind of throw off the balance. And I guess this is my style, but it's funny is, like, I consider myself more of a tournament player, but on the low-end cash games,
I know we've played some tournaments together, but I don't think we've ever played cash together, now that I think about it.
Tournaments, I'm a little more conservative, I guess, with my, like, outgoingness at first. I don't know. Cash games, I'm just more, but it's what I'm playing because I'm playing lower end cash games, so it's more recreational. Right. Whereas tournaments could be a little bit higher, so it's a little bit. Well, just how I flow with it.
I would have never guessed that because, like I said, I don't think we've played cash before.
But I'm not like But when I say disruptive, I'm not like.
I know you're changing the game. No,
yeah, I'm not like.
I know you're. I know
you
that.
suck. Or
no.
I'm just.
I know you're not that guy. You didn't have to. Tell
I
me
just start like if the table's quiet, I start conversations, and like some people will jump in, but then there's the guys like.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I'm trying to grind here for the high hand. Could you please just sit there and not say anything for 3 hours?
Yeah, he's stacking his $87. And he's like, whoa, wait, tip. You want a tip for that? All right. So. No, but for me, the biggest prepping part for maybe not prepping, but first hand dealt, like I said, in a tournament, I am trying to get there beforehand. If at all possible, to catch the beginning of the tournament. I know some people like waiting. If I'm late, so be it, but I try to get there early because then you can, listen, as a poker player, you want to profile. You want to figure out who's who and what's what as soon as possible.
Yes. So here's what I've kind of changed up too. For me, it's depending on the tournament. If it's a highly wrecked tournament, for example, like $1,000 WSOP bracelet event, where there's 6,000 people and like 75% of them are Weekend Warrior rec players. Right. I get there early as I want to be there firsthand.
Absolutely.
But if it's like a highly, let's say it's a $2,500, Brigada main event, and it's like real pro heavy.
Yeah. That's different.
I usually will come later because I feel like, I don't know, just for my styles. But if it's heavy recreational player,
you want to get the rec chips.
Yes.
That's the other thing too. Like people say, well, I'll come in. And it's like, listen, if there's a bad player, you want to get some of that money. You want to get some of those chips early. But I even listen to people, again, I might have a headphone in, but I'm listening, and if I hear people talking, I'll sit there and go, I hear what they say, and it'll be, what they're talking about, and whatever. Anything I can grasp, grab ahead of time, absolutely.
Lot of good info.
Or the other thing is I see them go talk to people who I know are good players, and I'm like, oh, if that person's a friend of so-and-so, that person, probably has a decent knowledge of the game.
At least a grasp. You never know.
Right.
They could be a complete punter too. But you have to go with your initial judgments and then
change them if you need to, and that's okay. Like if you label somebody as X, a type player, and then they prove you differently, okay, you change. It's okay to label somebody as something and then change your opinion after they've shown you different.
The more information, the more you're going to understand how the players play.
Just like playing a poker hand, the farther along you get in the hand, the more information you have, the better you can make a better decision. So that's all for sure.